once I started the actual process of writing and getting out and meeting other people, it really opened me up to see just things differently and to have different kinds of conversations. So I'm not having conversations about how many likes such and such is going to get, or taglines or titles of videos, or campaign breakdowns, but I'm having conversation about plots and subplots and A story and B story. And I've always really loved television and film, so being able to have conversations with writers when it comes to television and film is totally different, because they really get into, well, this happened and why this wasn't great, and what was missing and what was excellent, and all of those different things. You all in my lane. It is 3 p.m. and we are headed to I am headed to the WGA library, and that's the Writers Guild of America's library. That is the place that houses every single script for television, written for television, film, some video games, some digital media, broadcast, award shows. Like, basically, if you're looking for a script or you want to read or review a script, you would find it there. And they don't let you take anything out with you, so you have to go in there to actually see it. I'm going because I am currently in the process of writing a spec script for the CW's new show, All American, and I only have the pilot, and I really wanted to take a look at episode 8 and 9, and then the season finale and the script and how it's written. I've already watched the series through quite a few times, and I already have my first draft of my spec written, but now in the final stages I just want to kind of go and look at a couple of more scripts written by the writers for the actual show and check in with that before I finalize and go into first revision, second revisions, and then submit my script for fellowships. I know people wonder, who aren't writers, if writing is hard. And I say yes and no. Depending on the project that I'm working on, the writing part might not be hard. So the story might not be hard, but the structure is. And in other ways, it might be the structure is great, but you get stuck with dialogue, or you get stuck with trying to move the story along. I never planned to do All American as my spec script for fellowship applications. I went to my youngest sister's graduation at the start of May, and at that time I was all set, and I was like, I'm going to do Grey's because that's one of my favorite shows, and I know those characters front to back. I know the story front to back. Like, I can do Grey's. I would be great with Grey's. But then I got advice of you don't want to do a series. You don't want to spec a series that's Grey's is in the 16th season or some crazy amazing thing. You don't want to do a spec on a series that has more than 4 seasons already, or that's already veteran status, because pretty much all the stories have been done. And then you also want to be able to spec something that's going to really speak to what you want to bring as a writer. And while I was in Detroit staying with my other sister, I was sitting on the couch and I decided to start watching Netflix, and I turned All American on randomly. I had heard about it. I was like, oh, I'll give it a try. Watched the pilot episode, loved it, absolutely loved it. And then I just finished watching the rest of it, and I literally I watched the whole series through. I think I watched in a day and a half, maybe. I had watched 1 through 10 and then went to sleep and then got up and watched the rest of the season. Once I finished, I was like, I'm gonna spec All American. I'm gonna do this. Started looking for the scripts online, couldn't find them. It took me about 4 days to find, because I was still out of town. It took me about 4 days to find online the pilot. Found that, and then I was like, I'm good to go. And ever since then, I've been working on this spec for All American. I shouldn't be texting and driving and looking.
Well,
How are you?
I'm good. I'm trying to find some new clients.
Come on, sign some new clients.
You know, you gotta follow the revenue streams rolling.
I love it. I love it. So did you get a
What are you
chance
up to
to?
today?
I am going to pull some scripts at the WGA
Oh, okay.
library, and the writers group was like really pushing to, like, this is the big thing that came up, like fellowships is big for any writer, and I felt like if I submitted to it, it would take me through the process and teach me a lot, but then also expose me to more people, and then I could potentially, even if I don't win, I could potentially meet, agents, managers, people to get my scripts to. So it's kind of like just moving along in that arena. I mean, if I win, that'll be great, but...
Well, I'll be praying.
I submitted to Lena's thing with AT&T last week, and I'm like, oh my God. Lena Waite is doing a writer's mentorship. Yeah.
Oh, nice. I love Lena Waite.
Yeah, she's everything.
Nice.
Did you get a chance to check out the video I sent?
Sorry, not the new updated.
Okay.
Where'd you send that one?
In the drive. Yeah. So a bunch of things going on. We have to like get together. I want to try to get because I have all of the like framework for the rest of the videos. The way I've been editing is like I put all of the framework together, trying to get out all of the big glaring, okay, no, we're not going to use that, and then go back in and layer in graphics and all that other stuff. So I want to get you the rest of them to like look at and be able to view, and then maybe we can meet up and go through them, or just meet up and catch up. I tend to schedule a lot of my phone calls to happen while I'm in the car, or if I owe you a call back, you'll probably get a call back from me in the car, because in LA you spend so much time driving, and I'm always trying to figure out how I can get more done in the day, and in the hour that I spend going from one place to the next, and another hour going to the next place, and then the hour going home, it's like that's 3 hours right there that I could be doing something besides driving. And if I'm not listening to a podcast or listening to some other audio recordings, I'll take voice notes for myself, or I'll record voice notes, then I'm doing conference calls, I'm doing phone calls back to family, I'm doing calls with clients, and just trying my best to be productive in those hours out of the day. The Writers Guild of America is the actual union that all of the staff writers are a part of. So to be able to produce or write for television or feature film or any major production, you have to be a part of the Writers Guild. And the Writers Guild Library, again, is where all of the works are held. I found out about this because of my writing partner, Kamani. He told me, we're in a writers group together, and he told me about the library because we were looking for scripts for different projects and we wanted to read things. So one thing that any writer that really wants to get staffed, create their own projects, one thing that they always have to do is read tons and tons of scripts. Like anybody that you follow that is a writer or produces their own stuff, they have read a ton of scripts, and this is a great resource because they have every script that you could actually think of right here. I never really made a conscious decision to become a writer, but I do have ideas. I have this feature film idea, I have a short, and I have a web series, or a series, not necessarily a web series, that I've created in reference to conceptualizing. And for me, becoming a writer or getting more familiar with the writing process, the writing resources, all ties into me being able to bring those projects to life. So it kind of came about for me out of a need of, I want to make sure that no matter what I do the best job possible. And I'm only going to be able to do that if I learn the correct formatting for screenwriting, if I, network with other writers, if I connect, if I do the things that other writers are doing. So that's kind of how I got here. So today was super chill, low key. I actually going to the WGA library, they didn't actually have the scripts that I was looking for, the specific All-American scripts. It's a new series. They're in their first season. Well, they just finished their first season on the CW. So I talked to one of the librarians there, and they said that they have requested the scripts. They just haven't received them from the creator in the writer's room over at All-American. But I was able to pull a couple of other scripts that I felt like were similar, they were similar types of stories and written similarly. And I also pulled 2 other scripts from the same the creator of the show All-American, 2 other shows that she had worked on, just so I can get an idea of her style and be able to make some connections between all 3 scripts. So that was good. We were in the library. I was in the library, looked at some of those scripts, and then got some of my script writing done. Added a scene onto my script already, and then started the revision process. So that's pretty cool. Overall, I hope that you watch this video and you see that you can do it too. I anticipate that a lot of, aspiring up and coming writers will probably check this video out because it'll pop up if you're searching for those types of things. You guys, get outside your comfort zone. That's what I did. Within this writing process, I have kind of opened my mind to so many different things, and it's helped me not only with writing and the craft of writing, but also within my entrepreneurial journey. I am more resourceful, and I thought I was resourceful before, but I'm even more so resourceful now because I've had to step outside my comfort zone. I have to talk to people, I have to ask questions, I had to ask for advice, and then I had to take the pieces that people were giving me or that I was finding and try to connect them and make a bridge to get more information or get a better understanding. This writing journey has been great. I really have segmented my time. So I have my businesses, but then also I'm specifically I'm designating certain time out of my, week, out of my month, out of my day for this is my time to write. This is my time to do that, so I can move that skill along and move forward and really develop, so that once it's time for me to be able to birth my projects and release or produce my feature film or produce my series, I'll be ready, and I'll have the experience, and I'll have the know-how, and I'll have the connections, because now I've been out here and I've been joining writers groups. I have a writer partner. I'm visiting the WGA library. I'm reading tons and tons and tons of scripts. I'm watching tons of television. I'm watching tons of film. So specifically, if you want to be a writer or you want to get into television and film, you just have to get out and start doing. There's no excuse. If you don't live in LA, that's fine. You can always start reading scripts. You can always start watching films. You can always start watching television, taking notes, and growing yourself. As a creative, you can only move forward or grow in your craft if you do it and then if you expose yourself to different perspectives. So get outside of your comfort zone, get outside of your bubble, pull yourself out of yourself, and get started and go create. Besides, like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that you're subscribed so that you know when I post my next vlog. I'm gonna have a ton of great videos, other resources, other how-tos. I'll also be adding like questions and answers, so if you guys have any questions, I can answer those for you. And I'm looking forward to this ride, so keep watching. We're gonna talk about this podcast because I really want it to happen, and I really want you to be the host of it. And
You want me to what?
I want you to be a host of Beauty Beats. And I like that name, Beauty Beats. So remember I said Skin Beats at first, but I want you to be able to talk about everything.